Thank you, Deputy Speaker. So I had to read this MPI a few times just to get it right. And I can understand that... sorry, Deputy Speaker, can I just confirm whether that member is in their seat before they start to disrespect people on this side? So...
Member to continue in silence, please.
So let me just check that the Allan Labor government's nation-leading investment in school infrastructure, safety, learning supports cost of living relief to set Victorian students up for future and enhanced state productivity. I can see why the member for Albert Park scurried out as soon as that little misleading bombshell was dropped, because we might just set some things straight on this side of the House around some facts behind it. I want to localise it because it actually does have an enormous consequence on the students' future across the state, but in particular in regional Victoria. And on such a small investment, how far that can go for our communities. One thing that a lot of the national MPs are grappling with right now is funding cuts to complexity funding. $100,000, Deputy Speaker, is being cut from most of our P12 schools in regional Victoria, that is having a consequence on our students that will change their future trajectory. One of my school principals, I've spoken to all of them, who also said, I can't be named because of this, but because of potential consequences to his school, said, we're limiting VCE subjects, we're limiting mentoring, we are limiting those support for students that need some extra help. $100,000 cut from our P12s in regional Victoria because this government cannot manage money. And we hear all these reports about the $15 billion blown on big build sites in corruption, and yet we're losing $100,000. I hope everyone's silent, because we are furious about what we're missing out on in regional Victoria because of the mismanagement on these projects in Melbourne. I wanted to close with the $15 billion on where it was going to go. So let me take you along. So we've got the complexity funding cuts, $100,000. School condition report. Again, you've heard it before, a 2-year VCAT battle to silence this because the Deputy Premier didn't want this to get out. 3 of my schools made the hot list. This is not something we're bragging about. This is shameful. This is saying the condition that your children are learning in is inadequate. Substandard. 3 of my schools, 20%, nearly 20% of Victorian schools are below standard, poor condition. And this is facts. Thank you to the Labor members who have gone silent, because you cannot argue with the truth. So, on a local level, furthermore, what does that condition report look like? I've recently met with the Seymour College, P12, more than 700 students are at this school. Super school, we don't have air conditioners, member for Mildura. We do not have air conditioners at a brand new school of more than 700. And those that left the ivory towers of Melbourne would know that we've just gone through a heat wave where our students were working in conditions of mid-30s. This is not acceptable in this day and age. Don't build a new school without air conditioners. What is just a little cherry on top of our under-resourcing at our regional communities is also the power is required to be upgraded to get them air conditioners. $2.5 million to have sufficient working conditions for our schools is a very small drop in the ocean when this government is happy to turn a blind eye on $15 billion wasted in criminal gangs and bikies on these big build sites. Imagine what $15 billion could do for your community. And you will be relieved that I've lost my notes now, so you've really done your work. You may as well. So, no, mate, I'm good. But what I am going to say is we've spoken about the condition report. We understand it from an air conditioning on the ground. Now, no, listen, everyone go silent now, because Kilmore, a town of nearly 13,000 people, no public secondary school. What do we call Victoria? The education state, except for regional Victoria. It's just FYI, regional Victoria is about an hour, 60 kilometres or so just down the Hume. Take a look, come drive, understand the conditions that we're putting our kids in, because it is unacceptable. Can't drive, yeah, exactly. Heathcote, another town, a growing town. We do not have a public secondary school. Again, it's unacceptable. We don't even have the investment for a business plan to look at whether they deserve a secondary school. And then the consequence of that, the government, Labor wants to talk about cuts. They closed Toobrack Primary School, cut the education zoning in the middle of the town, told half the kids to go to Bendigo, half the kids to go to Broadford, where there's no public buses taking them there, and the leftover students going to Seymour, of which they do not have eligibility on a bus to get them to school. This is not a utopia episode, Deputy Speaker. This is the reality in my electorate. It is dystopian. A year ago, I put up a really quick fix. You close my school, how about you redirect one of the buses 6 kilometres and we get those students to school? Ignored for more than 12 months. Until a fortnight ago, we had students left where their parents were calling schools and making sure that they could get there. And they still can't. 78 kids prescribed on a 58-seater bus. How do we get those 20 kids to school? Their parents change their working environment to get them there, or they're absent. So let's talk about absenteeism. Why is it that regional Victorian have such high rates of absenteeism? We can't get our kids to school, or we don't have a school, or we don't have conditions that are safe and comfortable for them to be there. Question any of this, we have the reports. This is coming directly from our community, verified by so many reports that say we are getting the short straw in this state. We could talk about the government priorities. I am going to read my notes now because I want the language to be correct. Honestly, it is hard when we have people in our electorate saying, why can the government turn a blind eye on wasting $15 billion on money stolen on big build sites to fund outlawed bikie gangs, drug dealers and state-sponsored strippers to entice people to get to work? And yet we can't even get an air conditioner in our schools. This is unprecedented to right now hear that in the upper house, every single member, other than Labor, has supported a royal commission into this. That says something. Why do you want to hide the condition report of our schools? And why do you want to hide a royal commission into the big build? Because there is something that Labor does not want to hide, wants to hide. Let's talk about, in my last 90 seconds, what $15 billion could do for regional Victorians and my electorate. $15 billion of Victorians' money stolen by Labor's mates on Labor's watch could get us a new school in Kilmore, could get us a school in Heathcote, could transform the future educational outcomes of every single Victorian student. This has the potential to change Victorians' lives, and we can't even have it properly investigated. $15 billion, how many air conditioners could we get with that? Quite a few. Victorians have 15 billion reasons to question this government. 15 billion reasons to doubt what they're being told. The member for Albert Park put forward a motion that says we are nation-leading investment in school infrastructure. Imagine what that $15 billion could do to our school infrastructure. Nearly 1 in 5 schools are in poor condition while money disappears elsewhere. The priorities are clear. Under Labor, corruption is covered up. It is in their DNA. But under Liberals and Nationals, it will be cleaned up because that is in our DNA.